finest of margins in both of them, and he has been a fantastic world champion for the past year.
I was just going to say, watching Pavel this past year has been absolutely amazing and a lot of fun in itself. But for these two players on stage now, I might go as far to say the fun is over, it's the stress time. If Doc can take this win, he will move on, and it will be absolutely huge. There's Keliseth, and there is one of the other highest win rate cards in the deck, and in most aggro decks, South Sea Captain. When you combine those two, you quite often get a win.
He has 3 of the top 5 in his opening hand. Keliseth, Corridor Creeper, South Sea Captain are 3 of the 5 highest win rate mulligan cards in Tempo Rogue.
Keliseth and Creeper are 1 and 2, respectively, as well.
Yeah.
So.
The great thing about the mulligan stats for Tempo Rogue is that Prince Keliseth is kept 100% of the time. So shout outs to you, Hearthstone community. There is not one guy out there, not a single guy on record for HS Replay in any game of Hearthstone that's gone, nah.
I don't think you keep Keliseth in this matchup. I want 2 Corridor Creepers instead.
Maybe Hearthstone players aren't so dumb after all. Maybe we would be able to understand what a Fiery War Axe did.
Maybe. I'm sure the team are listening, so I am not going to continue this comment. I'll throw you under the bus for this one, Sol. You're on your own.
Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, Coin Keliseth is available now. Double captain. And this, although not seen too commonly, if you captain after Keliseth, and even just the captain survives, that second captain is even more insane. It makes the minions so much more harder to actually remove. Like, what deals with that? Most decks, never mind Priest.
Loot Hoard is a good draw, though, because it stops the snowball. It stops Keliseth sticking to the board and attacking. You know, the Loot Hoarder can pre-challenge it, and then you can set up for the future.
Yeah, and then very importantly, when Keliseth is left on the board, you might think, oh, he didn't Shadow Step it. At least he's not done that. He can draw Shadow Step the next turn and do it. So this removes any Shadow Step draw from Doc, activating the Keliseth before the captain comes down, which is backbreaking in most games. Looks like a good turn to me. Doc's like, which captain to play? Is there, speaking of it, is there any merit to playing a Firefly and Hero Power in here to kill the 1/1? Can't be, right?
I think so. It's
not enough
so,
merit, should I say?
Yeah, right. It's just such a weak play in comparison to what you can do, especially when you have the threat of the second South Sea Captain to follow this up if there isn't a Shadow Word Pain or any other type of removal to come out here.
Huh. Jason can clear the board here. With the Shadow Word Pain and the Holy Smite, you can just remove everything. Or you could try and bait some more minions out and go for the Kazakas for the 5. I imagine 5 mana? Yeah. Deal 4 damage across the board. Sometimes, or a lot of the time, you can get away with 1 and try and do that extra burst damage, combine it with Style Nose, you know, combine it with Spirit Lash and Pyro. But with the Keliseth buff, you need that deal 4.
I don't believe he
I
got
don't
it.
think he got it either yet.
There was a play I liked that turn. I don't know if Jason considered it, where you actually just Shadow Word Pain and you don't deal with the patches. The patches gets debuffed to a 2/2 from your perspective, not knowing that the second South Sea Captain is in hand. And then on the following turn, you have Potion of Madness and Kazakas to fill out your curve, and you could potentially use the patches to trade away, perhaps trade up into 3 health if your Novice Engineer lives as well, which it's entitled to. Doc goes face a lot in this matchup, doesn't have to take value trades. And you didn't really have a good turn 5 anyway, but Kazakas solves that same problem, right? Oh, I didn't have a good turn 5.
Yeah,
I will play Kazakas and take a 5 potion. Now I have a good turn 5.
Yeah, and this potion, just in case you missed it, there was Resurrect 2 and then Freeze 2. So you could get the Loot Hoarder back, which would definitely help. Could also get a 1/1 back, which wouldn't really help as much.
Top analysis.
Cheers, man.
Choose soon.
So, Doc just being in such a good position, his hand looks great, to be completely honest. And the fact he's still got the coin just unlocks so many extra doors and opportunities for Doc to really burst something out with this rogue gang. Is this the turn he goes for? Oh no, it goes for 2.
You guys card
It looked like he hovered over coin for a second and I was like, wait.
Yeah, I wonder about this play. I mean, this is obviously respecting the Kazakus potion being 4 AoE, right? He drew a Saronite chain gang. Those chain gangs are buffed to be 3/4s. So if you just played that out as the natural on-curve play, the 5-mana Kazakus potion would be a perfect clear for his board state. My counter-argument to that is, hey, sometimes they just don't have it. You can just play the Saronite chain gang and just wait for your Corridor Creeper to get cheaper and cheaper as the game progresses. And hey, even if they do spend their entire turn destroying your board, it's their entire turn, and you just refill afterwards with the stuff that you have in your hand anyway. Corridor Creeper, Southsea Deckhand, Southsea Captain, whatever else it is. I would have liked to just see him slam the Saronite that time.
I don't mind this. I think because you're the turn before Dragonfire as well, if you get even one swing out the Creeper, which is very likely to happen, you're feeling pretty good about it. You've just got the damage in. Yes, it wasn't 0 mana, but a lot of your other plays weren't super impactful going forward anyway. Hold
2 3/4s is pretty impactful if they don't get dealt with.
Yeah, I guess. Everything dies to Dragonfire though.
Everything does die to Dragonfire.
So many.
This coin is
options.
absolutely huge though. If Doc can hold on to it till next turn, try and stick a minion and then go for that, you know, that one turn quicker Bone Mare, which is just the fear of Priest players, because they normally want to just Anduin after that Bone Mare and say haha, or deny the Bone Mare any given time. But when they go one turn quicker, you take so much damage in that first swing, then often forced to Anduin, and then not do much else, then they can build up the board again and go. Shaking the head from Sottle there. I'm going to commentate your facial expressions and not the players.
Yeah, I just don't like the sequencing over the last couple of turns from DocPwn. He's ended up, you know, walking into the same stuff just in the other way around. I feel like the upside of just waiting for a Corridor Creeper to get discounted and perhaps not even committing it until you've seen things like Dragonfire Potion or Shadow Reaper Anduin. Like, I think it would have worked out a lot better for him.
Just take a 5-drop now. That's reasonable. Maybe play the Swashbuckler for 4-drop.
You could make it your 8 as well. If you Bone Mare next turn and it walks into Shadow Reaper Anduin, you could then just refill with another huge minion for Forbidden Shaping on 8.
Lich King.
Lich King, yeah.
Just play Lich King.
That is in fact an 8-drop. Should we just name some 8-drops until we run out?
Just name it good.
Pirate's Cove.
So I'm pretty sure Jason has a reasonable idea that Bone Mare's in hand at the moment. He'll know coin is. I've talked about the opposites of what we mentioned a lot about hand checking is that players could miss something and miscount. But I'm pretty sure you always got an eye on the coin, right? You know the coin's not been played. So you'll be aware that this looked like a very strong setup going into a coin Bone Mare turn, because the minions you don't Bone Mare dodge the Anduin as well, so you gain like, you know, 50% of your board kind of stays alive.
I'm guessing, based on DocPwn's mouse movements right now, that he's thinking of coining the Forbidden Shaping next turn instead of Bone Maring and trying to use that to bait the Anduin instead. So I think he's like reading Forbidden Shaping and then reading the coin and trying to figure out like how that interaction works as to whether if you have like 7 max mana on a turn, would he get an 8 or a 7?
Can you 100% confirm he's getting 8 again?
I mean, in the face of Shadow Reaper Anduin coming down, he would keep a 3/3 that he can then Bone Mare the turn afterwards if he does it that way around.
Gain like charge, so to speak, on the Bone Mare attack.
I mean, the Bone Mare attack has charge right now. It's just the fact that both of the minions get exploded as opposed to just
Yeah, that's
the
what I mean.
Forbidden
Like the
Shaping.
turn you go for it, you do the dodge, right? These Firefly is also still pretty nice for late game, whether it's going to be on the receiving end of a Scalebane buff or to activate that Battle Spine. So Firefly and the Elemental still have plenty of use. Sometimes you look at 1-drops in hand at this point in the game and think, these are pretty dumb. Not even. He's going to go for it as well. Good, good hand judging. Oh, nearly Lich King.
That is No, that's definitely no. That doesn't even live in the same neighborhood as the Lich King.
It's legendary.
Sure. They have one.
Got you on that. Now you're gonna go for Anduin. The Shadow Word Death just on the one threat. You are almost expecting Doc to expect the Anduin and then to have a refill.
Right.
So Jason just using the Death and saying, well, Death on a huge Dark Reaper seems pretty good to me. It's Captain not too much of a threat now, which means Anduin can always be held on to for 1, 2, or 3 more turns. Not 4.
I wonder.
It's like a Valspine turn to me. A 3/7 Taunt is about the most problematic minion that you're ever going to get to Valspine in this matchup.
Yeah, and if you can stick minions, you don't want to then put them into a taunt, right? You know, in this matchup, these minions need to hit base as often as possible. And what else are you Valspine as well in Priest? I think that was a fortunate Valspine, if anything. It's a 4/5, and a lot of the time, Priest only plays minions either super early game or when you're dead.
And these two players are very much engaged in the dance of the Bone Mares right now. I mean, I think they are both fully aware of what's going on by this point, just in terms of hand reads, cards that have been in the hand for extremely long time. That Bone Mare was opening hand for DocPwn. I believe the Shadow Reaper Anduin was the draw on turn 2 or turn 3 from JasonZhou. And now, because those cards have stuck around for so long, they're probably well aware that those two cards that interact horribly with each other on both sides are present for both players, meaning they're just playing this game of chicken, trying to get each
It'd be
one
great
to play
if you
it
could just turn those one card up in each hand, like face up to your opponent nose and just stare at them.
Right.
Speaking of Bone Mare, it kind of look like it might be dancing in the card art.
What kind of dance is that?
Because it's like reared up. I think it's about to, you know, like receive a partner for ballroom dancing. You know, it's just, its arms are ready, and it's just
So
waiting on that
many
partner to come along. Maybe lead. I don't know.
So his arms are ready. Or his knees weak.
Too soon.
We're not carrying this up. Because you won't stop. That's why. I think scale. I think Scale Bane and the Flame Elemental is a fine turn here. Mainly because the buff puts the Elemental outside of the Anduin range.
Too soon.
Doc agrees.
The problem now is that Doc has opened a window where Jason can now Shadow Reaper and not get Bone Mared on the backswing.
Because of the hero power.
Because of the hero power. He fully clears this board, and now DocPwn cannot punish the activation with the Bone Mare. This is the dance that you've been seeing come to a conclusion over the last few turns. They've both been trying to set up that opportunity where Jason is forced to Anduin a board that Doc can then respond with a Bone Mare. Hasn't happened. Jason's won the exchange, may well have won the matchup because of it.
And now, you know, Doc's lost a small mini, right? You know, you don't have anything small to even combo, so maybe Valspine as a Yeti would have just been better, right? Dodge the Anduin, there's no good way to do enough damage, especially without Raz alive.
And you saw him think about it. You saw him pick up that Valspine as the first card he was going to play, which you would have to play at first. You don't have to combo kill your own minion. And then he bailed out at the last moment and went back to the Scale Bane.
Small moments change games quite dramatically. Now do you Valspine? This Leroy is dead every single game time next turn, 100% of the time. But if two hero powers have to go into Leroy, are you okay having a Valspine on board? Right. If not, what is your next turn looking like? Mind controlling a minion that might not even be played?
Right.
So,
I mean, we haven't really talked about it, because normally pulling a mind control off a random effect is pretty exciting and we'd be freaking out about it. But in this matchup, like, what is that thing going to do? Velen? Is Velen going to hit the board and
steal a minion if targeted?
Oh,
bring it to Doc's side of the board.
Right.
Under his control. Some would call it with his mind. But yes, there are no good targets. Normally, especially at this point in the game, at any point you can play mind control. Velen, of course, is normally the death sentence as opposed to just slamming on the board. Can you imagine what the game would look like? Mind control was still 8 with dirty round. Like, what a turn 10.
that is pretty.
What a turn 10.
Yeah.
Shadow Word Pain, though, kind of solving the problem that I mentioned beforehand, right? Of how the Valspine's probably quite difficult to deal with as well as the Leroy. And that Shadow Word Pain makes it easy as pie for JasonZhou.
Jason's turn now to have his face in his hands. We've seen that stance from DocPwn over multiple occasions during this series, but you can suddenly see the stakes are crystallizing for both of these players.
100%, and JasonZhou cannot afford to misstep. Doc can lose a game. Guess what? He can lose 2 games and still make it. JasonZhou cannot drop a single game. There's the mind control. Taking the Raza on 4 health. Mainly because of this dagger being equipped. Even with just the 1 charge, it was enough to move, say, the easy threat removal with the Pyro.
Should be game, I believe.
Is this a I believe, yes, it should be game, or I believe Jason can do it?
Jason is firing off all of his spells. Mind Blast, Holy Smite, all the hero powers. Silence goes through as well. The Blood Mage draw was picked up for even more damage, but wasn't necessary in the end. The animations are going to have a little bit of catching up to do, but JasonZhou has got the job done.
Yeah, I said he couldn't afford to lose a game, and he's not losing this one. He is going to be fighting back versus DocPwn, but still plenty of Hearthstone left in this one as these animations come up. Tense game for both players, and you know, sometimes you do wind it back.